Hi all, my name's K.Stockings and I'm the Trust Lead for Geography at Future Academies. In this short video for Curriculum Thinking Week at We Are in Beta, I'm going to be talking about locational knowledge, why it matters in geography, why it's so important and why we've put such an emphasis on it in the Future Academies Key Stage 3 Geography curriculum. So I'm going to start by going through why it matters and why it's important. And since 1991, when the national curriculum was first introduced, it's maintained a focus on the 4 different forms of geographical knowledge, of which locational knowledge is one. And as you can see from this useful graphic on the screen, locational knowledge is one of the 4 forms of the substantive geographical knowledge, the stuff of geography, that's interwoven with disciplinary knowledge, the knowledge of what it means to do geography and how geography experts think. So why is locational knowledge important? Well, as Ofsted wrote in their 2021 research review, knowing where's where is one of the mainstays of geographical education. They explained that in building students' locational knowledge, we're not only helping pupils to identify specific locations, but also helping to build their own identity and sense of place, develop an appreciation of distance and scale, learn about the orientation of the world, including references to oceans and the continents that they can then further navigate from. However, it's very well evidenced, and many of us will know and have experienced a lot in our own classrooms, that the locational knowledge of students in our classrooms is often very weak. Students can often tell us what they're learning about Japan's demographics, but have no idea in the world where Japan actually is. They can tell us about the interconnections between the UK and China, but have no idea how far apart they are. And this is what we wanted to avoid in our Future Academies curriculum, and why we've decided to put locational knowledge right at the heart of what we're doing. It's also about more than just knowing where places are. So through ensuring our students develop their knowledge of where places are, we are developing their locational knowledge, but we're also developing their spatial thinking, their capacity to locate and navigate between different places. And in our quest for our students to think like a geographer in the broadest sense, this spatial thinking is absolutely essential. But we know that in the recent past, locational knowledge has been neglected in many Key Stage 3 geography curriculums, and the GA website summarises why this might have occurred really nicely. They state that acquiring an extensive locational knowledge of the world may seem at first to be a low-level and trivial activity that's more akin to knowledge for a pub quiz than for the academic subject of geography. However, students need a locational framework as a context for thinking geographically. Therefore, to learn locational knowledge means more than simply memorising where places are or looking them up. And this is the approach we've taken, to recognise the broader importance of locational knowledge and think about it as more than just a way of knowing where places are, but a way of really building a conceptual understanding of our students throughout their Key Stage 3 curriculum in a way that they'll take forward to Key Stage 4 and to Key Stage 5 and have a real impact on their ability to think like a geographer and to understand the conceptual thinking that you need to do that expert thinking. So how have we done that? How have we put a large emphasis on locational knowledge in our curriculum? Well, we've taken several different steps, and I'm going to talk through them in the rest of this clip. We wanted to make sure that we really had moved beyond simply saying that locational knowledge is important and that it genuinely runs through the core of our curriculum. So the first step to this has been really carefully mapping out the locations studied in each topic and then across the curriculum to ensure global coverage across our Key Stage 3 curriculum. Now, at the moment, we've only rolled out Year 7 this year, and we're rolling out Year 7 and Year 8 next year. Sorry, Year 8 is joining the Year 7 rollout next year. So at the moment, our map looks like this. The location studied in the core knowledge is shown on the left, and then for the schools that do use the centrally shared example lessons to deliver that core knowledge, their countries are shown on the right. And what you can see is through really carefully thinking about which countries do we actually study in depth, so more than just superficially mentioning them. Which countries do we study and when, and how are we achieving a global coverage throughout Key Stage 3? Obviously at the moment, it only shows Year 7 and one topic of Year 8, so we haven't quite achieved that entire global coverage, but we will definitely get there. So mapping it out has been the first really important step. The next step is in the MTPs, making sure the locational knowledge that needs to be taught is really carefully specified, and the lesson endpoints detail this as well. So on the screen here you can see a screenshot from the MTP of our population dynamics topic, the first topic in year 7, where they're going to explicitly learn about and should be able to locate the UK, China, India and Japan. In the MTP, when the lesson endpoints are stated alongside the core knowledge, the lesson endpoint is that students should be able to locate that country as well. So we've really carefully, specifically laid out what students should be able to do in terms of their locational knowledge. In terms of the resources, these are taken from the centrally shared example lesson resources that come from me as Trust Lead. Not every school uses them, but they're available for those schools who do want to use them to deliver the core knowledge that everybody teaches as specified in the MTP. So in the first year of the Common Curriculum, this took the form of scaffolding to help students write a paragraph about where the country is. And the example shown on the screen is from the resources for teaching Nepal as an example of a landlocked country when we look at how physical factors can hinder development in Year 7, Topic 3. But as we go into the second year of our Common Curriculum, we're going to refine this even further and adopt a really consistent approach in how we teach students to locate a place. So many of you will have heard of this approach before, but we're going to magpie the clock approach to specifically and explicitly teach students what they should include and refer to when locating a country. And this graphic is going to appear in all of the resources when students are asked to locate a place. And we think that this will help us streamline the scaffolding a little bit more, ensuring that students know exactly what they need to do and therefore allowing us to remove the scaffolding over time. And it's proposed that students are going to stick this small slip into the front of their geography book so that they can refer back to it whenever they need to. So this example is from the first time that students are asked in Year 7 to explicitly locate a place. That comes in Topic 1, Lesson 5 of our curriculum, where students look at the human factors affecting population through the lens of Gambia. And as you can see, we're going to use that small slip, that really standardised approach of what we're going to include when we locate a country each time in Year 7 and on throughout Key Stage 3. In terms of assessment then, we've been really clear that every single centralised assessment will start with a question that tests the locational knowledge of students. And we've done this for a couple of different reasons. We want to set really good habits with our students that actually they do need to take this knowledge seriously. And we think that by including it in the assessments, this plays a really important part in that. So we think that it helps us to signal to both staff and students that actually locational knowledge is just as important as the other substantive knowledge that they learn. It's not something to be skipped over and ignored when they're revising, but they should revisit it as well. To do this, we've had to ensure that locational knowledge is revisited and embedded throughout our retrieval practice, just as other substantive knowledge is. So, for example, in the revision resources that were shared ahead of AP1 for Year 7, we had a big focus on locational knowledge that they'd learnt throughout the year. It also crops up in things such as the Do Now, where we'll ask them about the continent that a country is located in and check that understanding of locational knowledge throughout the year, just as we would all the other knowledge that we're teaching. So we've talked about the reasons why locational knowledge is important, but what impact will this have on our students? Well, in the subsequent Ofsted report that came out in 2023, the Getting Our Bearings report, they highlighted the impact that explicitly teaching locational knowledge has on students' understanding of that place. And they explained that it also helps students to ground the abstract geographical concepts and content about a specific, about something in a specific place. And all of that is essential in progressing students' geographical understanding. So as we go into our second year of our common curriculum at Future Academies, we're really looking forward to seeing the impact that this focus on locational knowledge has. We've already seen it in Year 7, but as we go through the 3 years of Key Stage 3, we're looking forward to seeing it develop in our students even further. So in this short video, I've explained why locational knowledge matters in geography and why and how it sits at the heart of our Key Stage 3 geography curriculum at Future Academies. These are the sources that I've used, so to read more, please explore these sources. And if you've got any questions, please do let me know. Thank you.